Infamous Second Son. Infamous Second Son is the third installment in the Infamous series. It recently turned 1 year old, and Sucker Punch Productions, the studio that's responsible for one of my favorite modern platformer collectathon games, Sly Cooper, gave away a bunch of cover art, ringtones, and Twitter avatars, as well as a discount on the standalone expansion to Infamous Second Son, Infamous First Light. I'm not even sure these people can count beyond 2. I mean, just look at the evidence. Infamous 1, Infamous 2, Infamous First Light, Infamous Second Son. The evidence is all right there, and don't you dare go look that up. Arrogance and a complete lack of actual evidence aside, this game is pretty good at what it does. 7 years after Cole McGrath activated the Rayfield inhibitor to destroy a conduit, for the uninitiated, conduits are people with superhuman powers, the Department of Unified Protection, or DUP, formed in order to help imprison the conduits, now rebranded as bioterrorists. The dupe, headed by their very own in-house conduit, Brooke Augustine, uses propaganda to make sure that the general public is afraid of conduits. In this installment, we move away from Cole McGrath and we play as Delson Rowe, our central protagonist, and a Native American who was a member of the Akomish tribe. Delson's brother Reggie is a cop who's embarrassed of Delson because he repeatedly has to arrest his own brother. What for? What heinous crime could possibly make somebody arrest their own brother? Multiple times at that! Well, let me tell you, Delson is a graffiti artist. I mean, what's next? A main character who repeatedly gets arrested for attempted jaywalking? Delson has no idea he is a conduit until he's chasing down a convict named Hank who escaped after a conduit prisoner transport truck crashed, and he grabs Hank's hand, which activates Delson's powers. While tracking Hank, Delson realizes that he now has the power of smoke! No, not that kind. This kind. Delson's brother Reggie is having a hard time dealing with his brother being a bioterrorist.
I'm a conduit!
Delson's smoke powers are my favorite powers in the game, not just because they're the first ones you start with, but they really do feel like they're the most polished of all the powers that you get. Along the way, Delson meets up with another conduit who was also in the truck when it crashed, named Abigail Walker, but everyone calls her Fetch. If you've played the more recent game, Infamous First Light, you'll know her well. She has the power of Neon, and after beating her by using her own powers against her no less, you get to start building up your Neon powers. Which of course means you can run at the speed of Neon, I guess? Now, I'm not sure how fast Neon would be in real life, but here it's about 5 times faster than you can run normally, and with blinding speeds like that, you can bet your sweet ass that you can run up the side of buildings. Cool. The third power you get comes later in the story missions when you get a call from Eugene, who controls the power of video. When you finally beat him, you get back to the real world and you get the power of video. Wait a second. I've got the power of video. Watch this.
And lift off of Space Shuttle Atlantis.
Not very impressive, Eugene.
Ask and ye shall receive!
Okay, fine, it's pretty damn cool. Show off. Wish I had a bigger budget. Video powers are flashy and cool, but I didn't find them incredibly helpful. The best thing about video power is the hover. Hover for video is actually a hover. It's not like slows you down a little bit as you descend. It actually makes you hover, which means you can go toe-to-toe with a fucking helicopter. Each of the superpowers have their own special move. The smoke special move, the orbital drop, allows Delson to shoot high into the air and do a drop that explodes like an A-bomb. The neon special move is the radiant sweep, which pretty well decimates everything in front of you that's not undercover, and the video power special move, Hellfire Swarm, is indeed the flashiest of the 3, which calls forth a shitload of digital demons that rain down from the sky, decimating just about everything in front of you. Personally, and not just because I like the smoke powers the best, but the orbital drop is actually my favorite one of them. It just feels the most powerful. I mean, just look at this explosion! In order to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to talk about the last part of the game so much. If it was an older game, I wouldn't really care so much, but where this is only like a year old, there's probably still some people that actually want to see the end of the game, and by this point I've already ruined 3/4 of it for them anyway, so... Ha! Oops. The parkour climbing feature that was the selling point in the first game has become almost unusable at times. It's never consistent. I've been in the middle of scaling a building when suddenly Delson refuses to grab the next ledge until I try 4 or 5 times. There are many other small things like that that can really ruin the game, especially if you're at a tense moment in the game and he just won't grab that ledge! God! Aside from that, though, overall I found the game enjoyable. I mean, I would recommend giving it a try, especially if you enjoy stuff like high-paced beat-em-ups and flying through the city, RPG-style upgrades. Now, the game is a collectathon, so if you don't like that kind of game, you may not enjoy the game overall. Personally, I love it. The karma system, largely unchanged. It's pretty much the same as it was in the first 2 games. So, yeah, if you like that sort of thing, give it a shot. Game on. I'm not sure these people can count beyond 2. I mean, look at the evidence. I'm not sure these people can count beyond 2. I mean, just look at... Delson's brother Reggie is a cop who's embarrassed of Delson. Delson's brother... Now I do. High into the air. I'm dying here. Honk honk. Honk honk.